Hello, magical people. My name is Luminix, and I would like to thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope the universe has been treating you kindly since last we were together. In this video, we are going to be going over the astrological and numerological information surrounding this upcoming new moon, which is occurring on Friday, February 9th, 2024. Then I will also have a selection of 3 tarot pick-a-card readings. And then at the very end, I'm going to be showing you some footage of what's been going on in my yard lately. Hint, hint, I've seen my first crocuses, so stick around for that at the very end to get just a little bit of a sampling of what spring is sure to bring us all. So let's dive right into this new moon. So first of all, what is a new moon? A new moon occurs when the sun and the moon are close to one another in the sky. So therefore, there's no light that's reflecting off of the moon as we see when the moon is full, when they are opposite sides of the sky. So the new moon tends to be a literally darker time because the moon itself isn't illuminated. It's also the start of the lunar cycle and kind of the germination period. It's a great time for taking a rest, having a reset, letting the seeds of new intentions begin to germinate and set those intentions. It's a great time for doing some detox. So all of those are different ways that we can acknowledge the new moon every month. And this month, our new moon is falling in Aquarius. Since the sun and the moon are close to one another in the sky during a new moon, that means both the sun and the moon are conjunct one another in the sign of Aquarius. And when planets are conjunct with one another, that tends to blend and intensify those energies, which is why, especially at the new moon, because those energies of the sun and the moon can be kind of intense, it is a great time for imbibing in a little bit of stillness and a little bit of mindfulness as you plan towards some goals that you want to achieve as we approach either this full moon or a future full moon. So this particular new moon has actually quite a few different astrological things happening around it. So I'm going to be looking at my notes because frankly, it was just way too much to try and remember. So we have 3 different squares, 2 conjunctions, in addition to the sun and moon being conjunct with one another, 1 trine, and 2 sextiles. So I'm going to run through all of them pretty quickly and pretty briefly because I don't want this video to be super, super long. So we're going to start with the squares. And just as a reminder, when we are talking about astrology, the planets tell us what is happening, the signs tell us how it's going to happen, and you also going to want to consult your personal natal chart or birth chart because the houses that the signs impacted are in will also give you an indication of what area of life is bound to be impacted. So yeah, so again, starting with the squares, squares are when planets are aligned in 90 degrees to one another, and they are sort of conflicts revealed or challenges or obstacles illuminated or highlighted in some way. And we have 3 of them. So we have the sun in Aquarius, squaring Uranus in Taurus. So this is themes of self and ego, with conflicts being revealed between the self and the ego and a sense of rebellion. So one way that this could come up is ways in which changing our status quo. So we might see conflicts show up as to how we spend our time. And so with regards to the houses, for example, for me, the sun is in the 2nd house, which is the house of possessions, and Uranus is in the 10th house, which is the house of social status. So I may see a conflict being revealed between those 2 aspects as it pertains to the self and a desire to change the status quo. So that's kind of how it works when you start to apply the houses. We also have the moon also in Aquarius, also squaring Uranus and Taurus. So this is how our sense of our emotional self, how our feelings are coming into conflict with that idea of changing the status quo. So this might be how do we feel or resonate our emotional responses regarding changing things up? Do we sometimes choose to stay uncomfortable because change is so scary to think about? So that's the second square. Then the third square we have showing up is Mercury in Aquarius, and that is squaring Jupiter in Taurus. So here we have Mercury being the planet of communication, as well as Jupiter being good fortune and growth. So are there messages that we're struggling to hear or lessons that we're struggling to learn pertaining to growth that would be in our best and highest good, or letting go of old stories or releasing things that no longer serve us? So we've got our squares. Next, we're going to take a look at our conjunctions. Like I already mentioned, we've got the sun and the moon conjunct, but in addition to that, and conjunctions are when energies are merged and intensified. So we've got Venus in Capricorn that is conjunct with Mars in Capricorn. So we have Venus, which is the planet of love, relationships, and our connections to one another, being merged and intensified with that Mars and Capricorn. So our desire, our will, our sense of action, and actually taking the damn steps to do this damn thing. So we may be especially inspired to flesh out the steps that we can take to deepen our relationships or gain more clarity about the type of relationships we want to call in or nurture. And this doesn't necessarily have to mean romantic relationships. Venus is, of course, about love, but love is far more encompassing than just our romantic relationships. Also, for a second or another conjunction, we have Mars in Capricorn conjunct with Pluto in Aquarius. So again, we have Mars coming up with that desire, will, action, and ways to ground that in reality, coming up against Pluto, which is the planet of death and rebirth and regeneration. In Aquarius, which is again breaking down that status quo and having a little bit of rebellion. So we may find ourselves really wanting to take action or start planning future steps on big themes regarding our sense of personal power and identity. Also, we have, like I said, 2 sextiles, and sextiles are when I think it's 60 degrees. Oh, geez, I got to check my notes on another page. Did I remember that right? Let's see. Let's see if I remember. It did remember. So it's when the planets are in alignment at 60-degree angles to one another. And these are calm and sort of sweet blending and intensifications of the energies. So it tends to be more beneficent kinds of energy. And here we have Mars in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces. So again, we've got Mars with that will, action, desire, and that is coming up against Neptune, which is our dreams or our sense of spirituality. So you may notice for some seeds that there are kicking around for you to germinate around the themes of deepening your spiritual relationships or honing in on long-term dreams. This implies that the veil may be thinner because, like I said, we have that will, the desire, the taking action, also in the realm of not only Neptune, but Neptune in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So we've got really strong Neptunian energy there with spirituality. So if you are so inclined to be a person who does like to engage in spiritual practice in some way, then you may find that this would be a good time to be able to peer beyond the veil with a little bit more ease than is typical. We also have a second sextile of Jupiter in Taurus sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So again, Jupiter, goodwill, or good fortune, growth, and expansion, and Saturn being the planet of limitations and responsibilities and actions and consequences. So Saturn, generally, honestly, not gonna lie, probably the planet I personally have the most beef with. But again, since it's a sextile, it's bringing some sort of kind and sweet and calm energy to it, and it's sextiling with Jupiter, which is all about good fortune and growth. So you may notice a lucky break coming up regarding something that's been a persistent and consistent challenge or obstacle that has been blocking you. And let's see. Finally, we have for astrology the trine. And trines are very beneficent aspects. So they are harmonious and beneficial blends of the energies at play. And here we have Venus and Capricorn trining Uranus and Taurus. And again, Venus is about our love, connections, and Uranus being about changing the status quo and breaking things down. So there's a truly lovely opportunity here to rewrite covert contracts. And if you're not sure what that means is that sometimes when we get into loving a relationship with someone, we end up having these sort of social contracts between us that are not overt, they're not openly discussed, they're just sort of assumed or implied by the way we engage with one another. And sometimes with our longer term or more emotionally intimate relationships, if they are to stand the test of time, then that means that they do in some ways need to be rewritten, because as we grow and as we change, sometimes things that used to be okay may not be okay, and perhaps things that were not okay have become okay. So our boundaries shift and change a little bit. So that's what I mean about rewriting those covert contracts where necessary. All right, so let's see what else we got here. We have the numerology. So the numerology for 2/9/2024 is you add all of those numbers up and you get 19, which we then reduce to 1 plus 9, which is 10, which we then reduce once more to 1 plus 0, which is 1. And so 1 is the numerological number of the new moon, and the energy of the number 1 is breaking new ground, leaderships. This is the root of opportunity. This is a very confident, powerful, active number that is also denoted by independence and innovation. So as you can see, lots of different themes coming up here, like Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and we had Uranus coming up a bunch of times. Both the sun and the moon are in Aquarius. So there really is an opportunity here to particularly germinate those seeds that sort of have themes around changing things that no longer work for us, or changing the status quo, or how to be rebellious in a way to society's expectations for the purpose of being more authentic to ourselves. And of course, when we're more authentic to ourselves, then we are in a more harmonious state of being, and that plays out in the way we engage in the world. So it ends up being beneficial for everybody when we are authentically ourselves in a loving, caring, kind, and compassionate way. So, whew, now that we got all through that, wonder how long that took. We are going to jump right into the readings. And I was feeling a little sassy, I guess, when I was trying to determine what the tokens were going to be. And for some reason, one of the decks that I wanted to work in, I got a couple of messages about how to do these readings. One message was, keep it simple. There's not going to be very many cards to this reading. Along with that, sort of the energy of the new moon and allowing there to be a sort of wiping the slate clean and resetting, I'm going to align that with a feeling of simplicity around this reading. So there is going to be 3 oracle cards, an OM card, and 1 tarot card. So, and OM, just in case I've not mentioned it before, or you didn't happen to see the video in which I did mention it. OM is the Celtic alphabet of the trees, and I'm trying to learn it, and have been trying to do so for the past little while. And yeah, for some reason I find it easiest to learn by also teaching, which is weird. But anyhow, so like I said, I got a little sassy with the tokens. There are going to be 3 readings to choose from. You can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose all 3. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. But For both an oracle deck, I've got some fun little cat cards, as well as for the tokens, I have a selection of cat tokens. So the first one we have, and I've already forgotten this guy's name, Baron von Furrpants. So this is token 1. We've got Baron von Furrpants will be the token for reading number 1. And I'll insert still as well. For reading number 2, we have a Hello Kitty who's been around quite a long time, so she's kind of dirty and looks very yellow on my screen, although that's not the way she looks in reality, but she is going to be the token for reading 2. And then for reading 3, we have this adorable kitty who pops out of this little matchbox here. So little kitty that hides and then pops out. So that is going to be the token for reading 3. And having said that, we're going to just dive right in, folks. So, reading 1. My friends, my magical friends who chose Baron von Furrpants, this distinguished and adorable little fellow, as your token. This is going to be your reading, and we are going to start off with a moon oracle card. And the card we have is New Moon in Libra. A new romantic cycle begins. So this could mean that if you are not in a relationship, there is a potential new romantic love interest, or if you are in a relationship, there's a new cycle, a new romantic cycle starting within that relationship. So that can mean a variety of different things. Let's see, for your second card here, and this is the Cat Oracle deck, and we have, following up on that energy of the first one, we have cuddling. So we have some real sweetness showing up for you, group 1. Next, we are going to pull your tarot card. One tarot card, please, for group 1. And we have here the 9 of Pentacles. Beautiful. This is the energy of having learned a lot, having learned that you can trust yourself and that you can rely on yourself and that others can rely on you, and that you have that kind of like that energy of the one I was talking about. There's an air of independence about the 9 of Pentacles, but not like independence that you have earned in some way. The 9 is, close to the end of the cycle, so it sort of implies that there's been a lot of work put into it, that there's already been a lot of iterations building up to that 9 energy. Now, for your animal oracle, we have Cow Spirit. The miracles are endless. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful cow. I just love this deck so much. So yeah, abundance, like new romance and abundance showing up as themes for you to kind of consider and pay attention to during this new moon cycle. And I feel like, with both the new romantic cycle, this idea of cuddling, and with the 9 of Pentacles, actually with all 4 of these cards putting together here, it feels like there's a story of there perhaps have been romantic cycles in the past where you didn't have your own best interests at heart. You weren't that 9 of Pentacles energy where you really could rely on and trust yourself to do well for yourself. And, part of being independent can also include a lot of interdependence. And that, of course, implies our close relationships. And I feel like with this Miracles Are Endless card showing up here with this cow card, I feel like, maybe this is something that has taken you some time to really work through. And so like that offering the sweetness of the cuddles. Yeah, like I feel like maybe if like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like maybe if there's a little bit of fear still left over, I feel like, past times when you didn't have your own best interests at heart, I feel like that cow spirit is showing up to remind you of all of the healing that has already been done. And then finally, we're going to pick an Oan symbol for you. And we have here, oh, wow, interesting. So this is the symbol for blackthorn. It's just shown in two different ways. And blackthorn speaks of pain and wounding and struggle. And I feel like this is really telling the backdrop of the story of how this new romantic cycle, how this cuddling, how this Nine of Pentacles energy is really showing up for you. Like, I feel like this new moon time could be a time of some really powerful healing for you. And particularly with all of this Aquarius energy, I think that that would be something really beneficial for you, Group 1, to really hone in on and be your best dapper self. How long ago did that stop doing that? Hmm. Anyhow, I may have just realized that I had tech issues, so some of that video might be corrupted. We'll find out when I do the editing, but hopefully at least the sound will be retained. My magical Group 1, I do hope that you have found this helpful in some way. As always, please don't forget to be kind and gentle with yourself, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon and enjoy this beginning of this new romantic cycle and appreciate all of the hard work and all of the healing and struggle that you have had to move through to get to this beautiful, beautiful place. As always, don't forget to be kind and gentle with yourself. I think I already said that, but maybe you need to hear it twice because sometimes we do. And I will see you soon. Hello, Group 2. If you selected this adorable little throwback figurine of Hello Kitty, then this is going to be your reading. And we are going to just jump right in and start off with the Moon Oracle card. And Moon Oracle card for Group 2. We have here, Cardinal Moon, be bold and make the first move. Ooh, that's really hearkening to that one energy that we were talking about with the numerology. Next, we're going to pull a Cat Oracle card. Yeah, I feel like there's maybe some big intention setting happening for you, Group 2. Ooh, we also have, for your Cat Oracle, we have running. You are getting ready to move into a period of activity, if you so choose, which one do I want to do next? I think next I'm going to do the tarot card. What is the tarot card for Group 2 for this new moon? Ooh, hot damn. We have the Ten of Cups. It's funny, romance showed up as a theme in Group 1, and Ten of Cups doesn't, I mean, it does usually speak to, it always speaks to a very fulfilled emotional landscape where, literally they are swinging on a rainbow. So it's very harmonious energy. It can as also be denoted as happy family. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean a romantic connection, but definitely a connection that speaks to the depths of your heart, like a very deep, very true, heartfelt connection full of emotional intimacy. My goodness, Group 3. So I don't know. I feel like maybe there is a person that you want to have a connection with, or you want to move your connection down to another level, so to speak, and you are being asked to get moving on that. and to be bold with that. Let's also pull an animal oracle card and see what message comes through for you from there. And here we have, my goodness, there's a lot of action showing up in this one. Oh, I think maybe my video has gone again, but hopefully at least the sound is being retained. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to try and figure it out some other time. But anyways, we have for you the grasshopper spirit. Take a leap of faith. And just look at that, the royalty of that grasshopper. That grasshopper is not only taking a leap of faith, but moving into a mighty, beautiful space. So again, you know, make the first move, take a leap of faith, off and running, 10 of Cups energy. Like, this is really, 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 really beautiful energy. And finally, let's pull an OM for you. OM. And see about that final message. And we have here, ooh, Ivy. And Ivy speaks to tenacity and determination. And yeah, I feel like this is also the same thing of pointing to the running thing, because this isn't, it's not just taking a leap of faith, and it's not just being bold and taking the first step. It's also continuing to show up and continuing to put in the work. This is not jump once and then stop. This is running. This is the energy of action and continuing to show up and continuing to put in the work, and letting your, with that Mars energy, letting that sense of will, that sense of determination really show up, like the ivy. You know, like ivies, I don't know if you've ever seen the way ivies can literally climb buildings and climb trees, and there is a tenacity really inherent to the ivy as a kind of plant. So yeah, I feel like there's some really cool things that are in store for you, group 2. And again, my apologies for the video doing the weird thing that it's never done before. Go figure. Something else for me to try and figure out how to fix. Terrific. But anyhow, I hope you found this helpful, group 2. As always, please don't forget to be kind and gentle with yourself. I hope you enjoy your new moon, and I will see you soon. Hello, group 3. If you selected as your token this adorable little cat that likes to go and hide in the box and then pop out of the box, then this is going to be your new moon in Aquarius reading. So we are going to start right off here with your moon oracle card. So moon oracle card for group 3. We have here a win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. Well, that's auspicious. All right, what one do we want to do next? I think next I'm going to pull the cat one. Is the one I've been doing seconds. So for your cat oracle, we have traveling. Awesome. Oh, and you know what? Actually, 2 came out. Ooh, we have traveling and empowering. Look at those adorable, beautiful cards. And I like what's cool about this empowering one is how lit up those 6th chakra spaces are. So I feel like this is empowering in a deeply spiritual way. A win-win outcome is forecast. And what I think is cool about this one here is that it's a space outfit. So like there's this maybe could be like literal actual traveling, or this could be speaking to like astral traveling, or even maybe journeying or meditating and connecting with you know, your spiritual guides and whatnot. That is so fascinating. Okay, next we're going to pull your tarot card, group 3. Ooh, and we have here the Four of Pentacles. This is like knowing what's yours and holding on to it. So that can sometimes be the completely appropriate, correct, and right thing to do. But there are times when we hold on to things that maybe we want to take a second look at that. So I feel like for you, we've got these two kind of, with that Libra energy from this card here, I feel like we've got a little bit of a push-pull. Like there's an opportunity for you here to look at the things you hold close or look at your boundaries and do a little bit of a reassessment. And that regardless of what you decide from that, that the way that brings you forward is going to be empowering in some way. Pardon me. So next, let's pull a animal oracle card for you, group 3. Woo, we have beaver spirit, laying a solid foundation. So this seems like also like, I kind of feel like opening moves here. Like there's this is the beginning of a process that is going to bring you to new places and empower you and change the way you think about things you claim as yours. And then finally, let's also pull an OM for you. And we have here, we have 2, okay. We have gorge, which that is what the symbol looks like. Same symbol twice, actually, just slightly different ways. And that stands for sexuality, passion, and attraction. Interesting. And we also have apple, healing, wholeness, renewal, the other world, Avalon, and immortality. My goodness. So I feel like when I was doing the introduction back at the beginning, I can't remember now which astrological aspect it was, but one of the ones that came up, I was saying that this might be an opportunity for you to have like really powerful transformation around your sense of identity. And I feel like group 3, that might be the astrological aspect that you want to spend the most time sort of thinking and contemplating as you try and have a little bit of R&R during this new moon season or new moon period here. But either way, I feel like there are some really huge opportunities for self-empowerment and laying a new foundation and doing so mindfully in a way and knowing that your success in that endeavor is, you know, again, where we started. Win-win situation is forecast. Or win-win outcome, sorry. So that's pretty amazing. I hope you found this helpful, group 3. As always, please don't forget to be kind and gentle with yourselves, and I will see you soon. Look at these cute little crocuses. Ooh, and I think there's some more coming up right there. That's awesome. Spring's coming. And also these beautiful little crocuses. And also these beautiful little crocuses over here. And look how lush the chamomile is coming in. Smells so good too. And over here we even have some tulip sprouts coming up, as well as some hyacinth tips starting to pop out. Oh, and there's some more hyacinths right there. And check this out. Though they are still quite tiny, these are all pansies. So it looks like a lot of the pansies have come back as well. Yay! See here? These are little baby mountain spinaches, a perennial that are usually one of the first things to come out. So I'm happy to see I got that one. And there's this one. And there's also this one. And between those three, this whole area of fence will be covered. All of this new growth here is leading me to believe that this catnip is going to be gigantic. Probably this one too. This is a favorite corner of the yard for candies. Oh my gosh, I found more crocuses. And I didn't even know when I put that little guy there that there were crocuses underneath him. What fortuitous placement. I swear this little guy was not here just like an hour ago, but poof, magic. And there's another cute little crocus. Look at the underside too. Isn't that beautiful? Alright. Ready for another Irene? There you go, Cutie.